Hello everyone, so a very exciting video today. I was gonna say I had the idea, but it was not my idea at all. It was actually Caitlin's idea for me to do a fun like bookshelf spotlight series. So if you didn't see, I recently reorganized my bookshelves and I'm obsessed with them, and I'm definitely going to do a bookshelf tour maybe within like the next few months. But I thought in the meantime it could be fun to show you some individual bookshelves and go through them in more depth, because usually with my bookshelf tours I just like to be like, you know, here's the general vibe, and I don't go into like every single book. For this series I thought I could go into like every single book on the specific shelf, so I can show you like my classics shelf, my poetry shelf, and talk about all the books and stuff. So the first shelf that will be highlighted in this series is this one right here. This is the books that are on the top of my TBR, so books I want to read ASAP. If I'm trying to decide what book I want to read next, I'll go to this shelf and be like, okay, yeah, you know. So I definitely love looking at this shelf and it gets me very excited for reading, so I'm going to talk to you about them. And obviously this is like a TBR video, like books that I want to read ASAP. Fun! So before I talk about all the books, I would like to thank the sponsor of today's video, glassesusa.com. If you're ever wondering where my eyeglasses are from, they're from glassesusa.com. They're the only place and my favorite place to get prescription eyewear. On glassesusa.com you can actually find over 6,000 styles of eyeglasses and sunglasses, so you'll definitely find some frames that appeal to you. So they have in-house brands like Amelia E and Muse, and more designer brands like Ray-Ban, Michael Kors, Gucci and more. And glassesusa.com actually cut out the middleman, which actually allows them to offer prescription eyewear at up to 70% off retail prices. So that means you can get a complete pair of glasses, so the frames and the lenses, starting at only $30, which is incredible, and free prescription lenses are included with every single frame. You can add any type of prescription to almost any pair of their frames on the website, and this includes their sunglasses and blue light blocking glasses. And if you don't actually need a prescription, you can also get the blue light blocking coating for non-prescription glasses as well. So basically it's actually really fun to choose which frames you want to get on their website, because they have a fun virtual try-on tool. So basically you upload a photo of yourself and you can see how every frame is going to look on your face. So to show you some of my favorites, I currently am wearing one of my favorites that I like to wear quite often. They are black and gold, and I love the simplicity of the frames. I feel like they go with everything. Then I love these frames for when I want to be more bold and add something interesting to the look. And obviously I'm just wearing like a plain white top right now, and I feel like the red frames add something interesting, you know, so love them. They have lots of sunglasses to choose from as well. So some of my favorites are these. The shape is just everything, and I honestly have some stunning sunglasses from Glasses USA, so they definitely have an amazing selection. Now if you don't have your prescription on you, or if you don't know your prescription, they actually have a free prescription scanner app that you can download, and basically the app uses your phone's camera to scan your current eyeglasses and extract the prescription details. So yeah, Glasses USA just makes it very easy to order off the website. Standard shipping is free on all orders with no minimum. If for some reason you're not totally happy with your order, you have 14 days to get a full refund, product exchange, or 100% store credit. No questions asked. So yeah, just love glassesusa.com, and very thankful that I get to work with them, because I obviously wear their glasses all the time. So yes, I'll have a link to all my frames that I just showed you below. And now let's get to the books. Okay, so I'm going to go from right to left. So right here I have The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. Wow, I actually have such happiness just even holding this book. I just feel the magic, you know, like I haven't read it obviously, but I have such a strong feeling that I'm gonna love it. I have read The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern and absolutely loved it. You know, maybe I'm wrong, but my instincts tell me that I could possibly love this even more than The Night Circus. The premise just sounds so interesting. It definitely has like a vague, mysterious synopsis, but basically the main character Zachary stumbles across a strange book hidden in his university library, and this leads him on a quest. And I've heard the people who love this say that you should go in knowing not much at all of the story, so that's what I'm planning to do. I actually did start reading this a few years ago now, and the opening is insane. I definitely was blown away by the writing and the atmosphere. Just listen to this. Far beneath the surface of the earth, hidden from the sun and the moon, upon the shores of the starless sea, there is a labyrinthine collection of tunnels and rooms filled with stories. Stories written in books and sealed in jars and painted on walls. Odes inscribed onto skin and pressed into rose petals. Tales laid in tiles upon the floors. Bits of plot worn away by passing feet. Legends carved in crystal and hung from chandeliers. Stories catalogued and cared for and revered. Old stories preserved while new stories spring up around them. Wow. Also, I just love stories with a university setting. I don't know if that's going to be the setting of the whole book, but even if it's just in the beginning, you know, absolutely fun times, hopefully. So yeah, obviously I've heard really good things about this book, so I definitely have high hopes for it. Obviously it's on my shelf for a reason. I want to read it ASAP, so hopefully that will happen. And also I have this stunning edition. This is, I believe, the Waterstones edition, so it has like the amazing stenciled edges, gorgeous cover. Oh, I forgot about this. Wow, yeah, that is truly something. And then we've got the bees and the end papers too. Wow. Okay, so the next book is A Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney. I'm actually disgusted. Yeah, like literally why haven't I read this? If you don't know, Normal People by Sally Rooney is one of my favorite books of all time. And I've also read her other book, Conversations with Friends, and absolutely love that too. So it is truly a disgrace that I haven't read this. And, you know, Caitlin always says it. She's like, I can't believe you haven't read it yet. Like, I'm like, I know. I know. It's disgusting. I think it's a mix of me just like not prioritizing it, not having time, and also I think I'm trying to like save my last unread Sally Rooney book, you know, because it will be sad once I finish this, because then I'm like, Sally Rooney, where's the next book? But I don't want to pressure her, you know. I definitely know I'm gonna love this. Like, honestly, if I don't, obviously I don't want to put too much pressure on it, but like, surely, you know. I love Sally Rooney's writing. I love her characters. I love the way she tells stories. I love her social commentary throughout. So surely. And Caitlin has read it. She loves it. By the way, if you don't know who Caitlin is, Kate Literature, one of the best humans to have ever lived. We buddy read a lot of books together, which is why I always mention her. But anyway, yeah, she loved it, and she keeps talking to me about a certain chapter. I think it's chapter 12 or something. She keeps saying like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for you to read that. So I'm very excited for when I can finally get to this. I was actually planning to read it last month, but life is just crazy right now. But yeah, hopefully soon. Like, it needs to happen. And basically this is about two couples. So we have Alice and Felix, and Eileen and Simon. So yeah. Also, apparently it's quite smutty, which is fun. Let's have some fun this week. Sick. Okay, now this gorgeous book. This is Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Malors, and I'm actually going to be reading this month because this is Caitlin's Patreon buddy read book for this month. And I'm going somewhere fun soon. So I'm planning to read this on the plane, and I'm very excited. I have seen incredible reviews for this, and also I need to talk about the cover because I'm obsessed. I love both the UK and the US cover, but I do prefer this one. I just think, you know, it's so sleek and pleasing to the eye. And honestly, I literally don't even know what this is about. Like, obviously I read the synopsis ages ago when I was excited for this, and now I've forgotten it. And it's just so crazy how I can be so excited for a book without even knowing what it's about. As long as I get some good vibes, as long as I know some key details about it, and I see good reviews from people that I trust, I'm just like, wow, yeah, I'm so excited. But basically this is supposed to be a complex, funny, deeply felt, beautifully written debut. It's set in New York. Cleo is at a different party every other night. Party girl. And then she meets Frank, who is 20 years older, and Frank offers her the chance to be happy and the opportunity to apply for a green card. Okay, so there's also some discussions on gender identity. Very exciting. It says, this is about the spontaneous decisions that shape our entire lives and those imperfect relationships born of unexpectedly perfect evenings. See, yeah, that sentence alone, absolutely. So, very excited. Wow, ooh, it's kind of a thick boy. That font is a little tiny. Okay, now I want to talk about Love and Virtue by Diana Reid. Diana Reid is an Australian author, and I believe this is her debut, and it's gotten incredible reviews. And oh my god, I forgot how fun that is. Basically, this is set in university, and it's at a Sydney university, I'm pretty sure. It's definitely in Australia, and basically this is about Michaela and Eve, who are two bright, bold women who befriend each other in their first year at a residential college at university. So it's about their friendship. I'm sure it's going to have some commentary on academia and everything, and I'm very oh yes, class and institutional privilege, feminism, issues of consent. Thank you. Sounds incredible. Definitely need to get to this ASAP. Okay, then I can't wait to get to Lonely Castle in the Mirror by Mitsuki Sugimura. And this is a fantasy, and this is actually a Japanese book, so it's been translated. And it was very popular in Japan, and basically it's supposed to have huge Studio Ghibli vibes, which of course makes me very excited. I don't think I've ever like fully experienced the Studio Ghibli magic in book form. The closest I've felt to that magic is probably like Stranger Dreamer, but I'm really hoping that this gives me that Studio Ghibli magic. Like, nothing compares to that, you know? And it just sounds incredible. This is set in a neighborhood of Tokyo, and it's about 7 teenagers who wake to find that their bedroom mirrors are shining. So they touch the mirror and they are pulled from their lonely lives to a wondrous castle filled with winding staircases, watchful portraits, and twinkling chandeliers. And then it says that there's the catch, that if they don't leave by 5 o'clock, they will all be punished. As time passes, they begin to realize only those brave enough to share their stories will be saved. So this is all about confronting your fears and embracing human connection, which definitely sounds like a Chloe book. So yeah, honestly, cannot wait. And obviously I haven't really been as into fantasy recently, but this type of fantasy, thank you. I'm very excited. And I'm actually going to be reading this in May because this is my May Patreon book club pick. So I'm very excited to read it with everyone there. And I'll be filming a spoiler-filled reading vlog for it and everything for my Patreon. But yeah, really have high hopes, and I mean, surely I'm gonna love it, like surely. Okay, the next book on that shelf is Never Have I Ever by Isabel Yap. This is a collection of short stories and it's filled with urban legends and immigrant tales, and it combines many different genres. So it has like fantasy, horror, science fiction. Thank you. I am really wanting to read more. Actually, honestly, maybe I should just put this on my bedside table right now because I want to have like a short story collection going. I want to say it all times, but I'm not gonna lock that in. But you know, I just feel like it would be nice to have a book of short stories like always on the go, because then I can just read a short story every now and then, you know, kind of read it slowly. So yeah, honestly, I'm gonna keep this off and put it next to my bedside table because I want to start this ASAP. Okay, the next book on my shelf, The Woman Destroyed by Simone de Beauvoir. I have never read any Simone de Beauvoir before, and I actually want to read this for a fun video that I'm planning. So I will hopefully be reading it soon, and I'm very interested to see what I think about her work. And this basically has 3 stories about the decay of passion. Okay, the next book I have is Paradise Rot by Jenny Haval. I believe I mentioned this in my top 22 books I want to read in 2022, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. Also because, to be honest, I can't really remember the plot or like the synopsis. All I know is I want to read it because I've heard that it's quite unique. I've heard good reviews. It's kind of short, so I want to see what I think. And it's set at a university, so oh yeah, it says it's a portrayal of sexual awakening and queer desire. Thank you. Okay, then I also want to get to Slow Days, Fast Company, The World, the Flesh, and LA by Eve Babbitt. I love this cover. The pink, wow. And this sounds really interesting. I've never read any Eve Babbitt before, but I feel like this is right up my alley. Basically, this is supposed to talk about LA in the 1960s. So it says that Babbitt recreates a Los Angeles of movie stars distraught over their success, socialites on 3-day drug binges, soap opera actors worried that tomorrow's script will kill them off, Italian femme fatales even more fatal than Babbitt's. So yeah, it just sounds very interesting. Okay, then I have Luster by Raven Leilani, and basically this is contemporary fiction about being in your 20s as a woman. And you know, I just want to read any book that is about being a woman in your 20s. So that's why I want to get to this ASAP, but also I've heard incredible reviews, and it's also supposed to be funny. And it's supposed to be very, yeah, contemporary. Okay, then I have Girls Against God by Jenny Haval, who is the same author of Paradise Rot. And I'm just going to read one sentence and you will understand why I want to read this. This novel is a radical fusion of feminist thought and experimental horror. Okay, then I have Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke by Eric LaRocca. Although I actually am a bit nervous about this because I think I saw some bad reviews of this recently. So if you've read this, let me know what you thought. But this is very short, so I definitely want to see how I think about it. And this is supposed to be a short horror novel, and it's supposed to be quite intense, quite bizarre. But it just sounds so interesting. It's about 2 lonely young women in an internet chat room in the early 2000s. And there's like ballet involved. Thank you. Okay, so A Certain Hunger, absolutely need to read this ASAP. This has been on my mind for a while now. It sounds incredible. I feel like I've talked about it a lot, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. And I think I did talk about it on my top 22 books to read 2022, but hopefully so. Okay, then I really want to read Vladimir by Julia May Jonas. This just sounds really interesting. It's basically about a couple who are both professors at the same liberal arts college, and the husband is actually under investigation for inappropriate relationships with his former students. And it just sounds very unique. It's supposed to be darkly funny. It's supposed to expose the messy contradictions of power and desire. It's supposed to explore marriage and motherhood, art and love, and the temptation to see just how close you can get to the fire without getting burned. Also, I love this cover. I feel like it's very fun. I've seen some people say that it's ugly, but I feel like it's a fun moment. Okay, then I really want to get to Boy Parts by Eliza Clark. I've heard this can be quite an intense book to read, so I need to make sure, you know, I'm mentally equipped to read it, but I definitely want to read it. It basically explores gender, class, and power. Interesting, it's also supposed to be a pitch black comedy. I didn't realize how many books on this shelf were kind of like comedy vibes, like dark comedy vibes. That's interesting. But yes, it's supposed to explore the taboo regions of sexuality and gender roles in the 21st century. So, you know, this appeals to me. Okay, then I need to get to Once Upon a KProm by Kat Shaw because it sounds so fun. And if you don't know, she wrote Wicked Fox, which I absolutely love, and that was a Korean fantasy, and now this is her first contemporary Korean story. So basically it's about Elena Sue, and her childhood best friend Robbie is now an international K-pop star. And after not seeing each other for 7 years, he shows up on her doorstep and asks her to prom. So it's gonna be a fun contemporary romance, and you know, that just sounds so fun. Then I have An Arrow to the Moon by Emily Pan, and this is the arc that Kaz gave to me, so very thankful to her. I definitely need to read this ASAP because if you don't know, Emily Pan wrote The Astonishing Colour of After, which is one of my favourite books that I read a few years ago now, and it was just incredible. It's like magical realism, and Emily Pan just has amazing writing, and her story just meant a lot to me. So I've been waiting and waiting for her to come out with a new book, so I'm very excited that it's finally here. And this is actually a fun fantasy book, and it's supposed to be like a, you know, Romeo and Juliet retelling in space. So it says, the stars arced through the skies and cracked in half as it fell back down to earth. One piece landed first, the other tumbled for a longer stretch. In these moments, 2 children were born and given their names, Hunter Yi and Luna Chang. I always love a star-crossed love story, so fun fantasy romance, hopefully. Then I plan to read My Year of Rest and Relaxation ASAP. I want to read this for a fun video, so yeah, hopefully it'll be soon. And I have seen this like all over BookTok, and I've also heard Orion Colotto talk about this quite a few times, and it definitely intrigues me. It's basically about this woman who isolates herself for like a year because she is dealing with very bad depression, and I believe she's just trying to get some rest and understand herself and her emotions and stuff. So yeah, sounds very interesting. I've heard some people say it's like quite boring, but I kind of would expect that. You know, that synopsis doesn't sound like, oh, fun, like lots of plot, you know. So I'm more just interested in the insights, and yeah, it just sounds very interesting. Then I have Night Bitch, which I feel like I've talked about so much, and it honestly feels like one of those books that I've talked about so much and I've hyped up so much for myself that it feels like I've already read it and I already love it. So it's going to be very disappointing if I don't like it, but surely I feel like it, you know, surely. It's supposed to have like bunny vibes. It's supposed to be like bizarre, like horror. It basically follows a mother who starts to, you know, get some canines, get some new patches of hair, and from deep within herself, a new voice. So I think she like turns into this. I just think it sounds so fun and interesting. So, you know, surely I'll love it. Okay, and the last book on that shelf is The Inseparables by Simone de Beauvoir, and once again I just want to read some more. Well, any Simone de Beauvoir because I haven't. So I was at the bookstore one day and I sent Caitlin this photo and she was like, get it, no offense, because she has it too, so we can buddy read it. But yeah, very excited. Really hope that I love her work. Okay, so that is it for this shelf. Really hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know which books of these I should prioritize. Thank you so much once again to glassesusa.com for sponsoring this video. I will have the website and the styles that I showed you before linked below. If you're looking for more content from me, I have a Patreon where I upload extra content like extra reading vlogs. We do a monthly live show, we do a monthly buddy read, etc. That's always linked below, as well as my socials, including my Twitch, which is twitch.tv/gamewithchloe. And that is where I stream games and just chatting. So hope you're having a good day or night, and I'll see you in my next video.